The vanishing car. It was a rainy night when I found myself in the most unsettling parking lot I'd ever encountered. The asphalt glistened under the dim glow of flickering streetlights, and the steady patter of rain on my car's roof added to the eerie ambience. I parked in a remote corner of the lot, far from the few other vehicles scattered about. I'd only intended to grab a few things from the store and be on my way. But as I returned to my car, something felt off. The parking lot seemed larger, the rows of cars stretching into infinity. Panic set in as I realized my car was nowhere to be seen. I checked my surroundings, nothing but an endless sea of vehicles, in all directions. I stumbled through the lot, my footsteps echoing in the stillness, calling out for help. But there was no one around. It was as if the world had shifted, and I was the only one left. That's when I heard the faint, mournful sound of a car horn. I followed the sound, my heart pounding, and came upon a lone car in the distance. It was my car, its headlights flickering, as if it had been trying to call out to me. I approached cautiously, but the car was empty. The doors were locked, and the engine was off. I couldn't understand how it had moved to this remote corner of the lot on its own. I tried to start the car, but it remained silent. The rain fell harder, and the streetlights overhead began to flicker and die. Panic overwhelmed me as I realized I was trapped in this surreal parking lot with no way out. That's when I heard the whispering, a chorus of voices, soft and indistinct, coming from the surrounding cars. They seemed to be calling my name, their words filled with longing and despair. I fled on foot, but the parking lot stretched on endlessly. The rain fell harder, and the whispers grew louder, echoing in my ears. I was trapped in a nightmarish labyrinth, where time and space had lost all meaning. The phantom car. Late one night, I found myself in a nearly deserted parking lot. The only other vehicle in sight was an old, beat-up sedan parked at the far end. I paid it no mind and went about my business, grabbing a few items from a nearby store. As I returned to my car, something strange caught my eye. The sedan was now parked right next to me. I could have sworn it had been at the far end of the lot. An ease settled in as I unlocked my car and climbed inside. I watched in horror as the sedan's driver's side door swung open, but there was no one there. The interior of the sedan was empty. My heart raced as I scanned the darkened lot, searching for any sign of movement. That's when I heard the sound of an engine roaring to life. The sedan's engine revved, and it began to move, slowly inching closer to my car. I was trapped, unable to escape as the phantom car closed in on me. With a sudden jolt, the sedan rammed into my car, sending it rocking. I screamed and fumbled for my phone, desperate to call for help. But there was no signal, no way to reach the outside world. The sedan continued to ram my car, each impact growing more violent. I was trapped, the metal frame of my car creaking and groaning under the relentless assault. I couldn't understand how this was happening. There was no one inside the sedan. In a final, bone-crushing impact, my car's windows shattered, and I was thrown forward. Darkness overcame me. I awoke in a hospital bed, my body battered and bruised. The doctors told me I had been in a horrific car accident, but I couldn't shake the feeling that it hadn't been an accident at all. The phantom car, with no driver, haunted my nightmares, a malevolent force that had tried to claim my life. The endless parking garage. The parking garage beneath the mall had always been a labyrinth, but one evening, it became a nightmare. I parked my car and made my way toward the elevators, but something felt off. The garage seemed to stretch on endlessly, its rows of cars disappearing into darkness. I shrugged off my unease and entered the elevator, pressing the button for the ground floor. But as the doors closed, I heard a soft, chilling laugh behind me. I turned, but there was no one there. The elevator began to descend, but it didn't stop at the ground floor. It kept going, deeper and deeper into the underground abyss. Panic set in as I realized I was trapped in the elevator, descending into an unknown, seemingly endless abyss. I pounded on the doors, but there was no response. I was alone in this nightmarish descent. Finally, the elevator came to a shuddering halt, and the doors opened to reveal a dark, empty parking garage. But it was like no garage I had ever seen. The ceiling stretched impossibly high, and the rows of cars seemed to go on forever. I stumbled out of the elevator and tried to find my way back to my car, but the garage seemed to shift and change around me. The walls closed in, and the ceiling pressed down like a weight on my shoulders. That's when I heard the soft, mocking laughter, echoing all around me. I turned, but there was no one there. The laughter grew louder, more malevolent, as if it belonged to some unseen presence lurking in the shadows. I ran, my footsteps echoing in the eerie silence of the garage. But no matter how fast I moved, the exit seemed to elude me, the rows of cars stretching on endlessly. The laughter pursued me, taunting and cruel. I woke up in a cold sweat, my heart pounding. It had all been a nightmare, a terrifying descent into an endless parking garage. But the memory of that nightmarish place still haunts me, a reminder that even the most mundane locations can become a realm of horror and despair.